lovelies, welcome back again. If you're new to this channel, I give you a warm welcome. My name is Debbie. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for the love. Today we are making something very simple yet delicious, and this is angwamo, also known as braised rice. I'm very hungry. Yes, I didn't want to spend too much time in the kitchen, so I decided to make braised rice, which I'm so happy to show you. So let's get straight into the video. We have no time to waste. To begin, I'll quickly take you through the list of ingredients. It's a very simple recipe, meaning you need very simple ingredients. So let's kickstart by going through the ingredients. We've got our onions, red and white. I love a lot of onions in my braised rice, so that's why you see quite a lot here. I've also got my oil, my rice, and my Toolo beef or cured beef. If you haven't seen the recipe, I've linked it in the description box, or click on the link above now and it will take you to the full recipe. I've also got some salt and some butter to give it extra flavor. This is an optional ingredient, you don't have to add it, but it does give it a lot of aroma, so you can choose to. I'll begin by slicing my onions and setting them aside for later use. When I'm making braised rice, I use a lot of onion as it adds a lot of flavor to your rice. You can use less if you don't like a lot of onions, but I do recommend you use that much onions as it will make your angwamo very flavorful. Of course, there will be no braised rice without some good cured beef. If you haven't seen the recipe for this cured beef, I posted it in my previous video. I've also linked it above now, and you can also find the full link in the description box. So I've chopped my cured beef into medium cubes. All prepping of ingredients is done, so let's get on with the real cooking. Into a heated pot, I'll add some sunflower oil and some butter. The butter is optional, but it adds a lot of flavor to your braised rice, so you can give it a try if you haven't tried it before, okay? Once the oil is hot and the butter has completely melted, I'll add half of my chopped onions and half of my cured beef. The rest of the half of each of the onions and the cured beef will come in right before I add my rice. I'll allow it to fry until the onions are properly caramelized. The reason why I add half of the onions later and half of the cured beef later is because when making your braised rice, to get the most of the flavor, you need to allow your onions to fry until they are nearly burnt. And that means that you won't get some to bite into when you're eating your rice. And if you know me, you know I love the bits in there. So I add some of the onions later when the ones I've added before is nearly burnt, so that by the time the rice is done, I will get some crunchy onions in there. And for the cured beef, because you added in the early stages, some of the flavor might die off, and adding some later means the flavor of the cured beef will be properly enhanced by the time the rice is done. I'll then add my jasmine rice, which has been washed to reduce some of the starch from it. You can add or use any rice of your choice at all, basmati or whatever rice you use, okay? It's all down to you. I'll then stir to combine and roast this on very high heat for about 5 minutes. I'll then add some hot water to cook my rice. The reason why I always use hot water to cook my rice is because it helps it cook faster and it gets very fluffy in the end. And roasting your rice as well alongside the hot water makes your rice cook perfectly. It's very fluffy by the time your rice is done. I'll then add some salt to taste, but be careful of the amount of salt you use, as there's already salt in the cured beef and you don't want your rice to be salty. Though the cured beef has been soaked and washed already, it still contains some salt, so be very careful of the amount of salt, okay? I'll then turn the heat down to medium-low to low heat and allow it to cook. And once the water around the rice has almost dried out, I'll cover it with a parchment paper and cover it with a lid. Turn the heat down to very low heat and allow the steam in the rice to completely cook the rice. And our rice is ready, and just look at that fluffiness. I'll dish some out beautifully and serve and enjoy with the family. And what is angwamo without the kanzo? asia no, you know. If you love the asia, then this is the chance for you to grab this one off the screen. As you can see, all the necessary accompaniments for braised rice have beautifully been lined up. I'll dish myself a good amount, and of course, pair it with my green chili sauce. If you haven't seen the recipe for this sauce, you are missing out. Check the link above now, and I'll also leave it in the description box for the full recipe. It goes well with this braised rice. Of course, I'll add some fried egg, some avocado, some sardine, and this is what I call views. It's simply amazing. This braised rice recipe, it's yum. You ought to try this and you definitely love it. Thank you so much for watching. It was simple, right? When you do try it, don't forget to tag us on your Instagram status at Tbsp Delight. See you in my next video. But until then, I love you all, but God loves you the most. Bye for now.